Alrighty, Go Juju episode 24, Cops vs. Robbers Schoolyard Edition, or episode 24, The Thief Causing a Stir at the School. So this begins a brand new story arc or a brand new two-parter for Go Juju, and I was not expecting this episode to be a lot of fun. I thought this would be a funny Monster of the Week episode where we would kind of take a break from the big storylines we've been having recently, but no, we're back into another two-parter with some pretty heavy plot stuff going on, a pretty hefty two-parter going on, and I can't wait to see where it's going to go next. So the whole premise for this episode is that there are students going missing and there's a Lupin Ranger using Gokaiger powers to seemingly kidnap students. So that's the big mystery going on here. There's someone going around kidnapping students, and there's the Pato Ranger trying to catch the Lupin Ranger going around. So Sumino gets a request to solve the mystery at the school, and the Rangers go there, and right away, things look pretty normal at first at the school until you have three of the Rangers acting a little bit funny, and that is Byakuya, Horu, and Byakuya. And the whole reason why they're doing this is because the Monster of the Week is making the students sort of live in the moment of youth and stuff like that. And you get some really good one-liners from Horu that actually shows some character development from, in a way. I wouldn't say character development, character moments. We understand that he never really had a normal life because he was trapped in the no-one world for so long. And when he steps foot on the school ground and he sees some of the students playing soccer, he's like, oh, this is what it's like to live a normal school life. So he never had that opportunity, but he's actually getting to witness it for the first time. So I was thinking that maybe we'd sort of have him interacting more with the students here and there, which we kind of get, but he's under the influence of the monster. So we do get some fun gags within this episode. You've got Byakuya sort of rizzing up all the teachers and the students. You've got Byakuya sort of making a club to worship Tegasword. And then you've got Horu, who's just living a normal school life where he's getting into fights and stuff like that. And the teacher has faith in him and stuff like that. So you get some fun moments. So you learn a little bit of lore about the school where there was a principal that went missing all those years ago and they don't know who it is. And then you have the moment where the Lupin Ranger and the Pato Ranger have a face-off in the school, and you find out that you see the Lupin Ranger kidnapping students and turning them into Gokaiger keys with their Gokaiger powers. So you have that going on in this episode. So the Monster of the Week shows up. He manages to sort of hypnotize Sumino and the Green Ranger, Kijiro. I always get his name mixed up here and there. But they get hypnotized, but they're saved, or quote-unquote saved, by the Lupin Ranger, where he turns them into Gokaiger keys. And then you kind of learn about their past in the end. So we find out that, and I believe this is revealed later on in the episode, or they revealed it here, but the Lupin Ranger used to be the principal of the school, but he's sort of investigating the monster that showed up that's sort of hypnotizing all the students. And we see the keys, but the principal has collected, there being a Gokaiger ring, a Lupin Ranger ring, a Denji-Man ring, I believe. I could be wrong. Or is it Flash one? I get those two confused. So he's got a few rings here and there, and in space, Omega Ranger, if I didn't say that. So he's got a fair collection of rings. So it's up to the Rangers to sort of stop the Monster of the Week and sort of stop the hypnosis to save everyone. So this episode, we get some really great fight choreography in this episode. And I mean really, really great. The fight between the Lupin Ranger and the Pato Ranger in this episode, and Gozu Polar gets involved, is fantastic. I loved it. It's an amazing fight sequence we get in this week's episode. The fight choreography, on point. But looking up the actor who played the principal in this week's episode of Go Juju, it turns out he's been a stunt actor for Sentai for a really long time. He's done a lot of stunt work, I think all the way back in Jetman or Lifeman, I believe, looking at his credits. So he's been around, and the person who played the Pato Ranger was, I believe, they're on Ultraman. So they've got some good credits on board with who they brought back with this. But seeing how they brought a stunt person on board to play a main character or character of the week for this week's episode, pretty cool. It wasn't a deep cut callback, but you could say it was a deep cut callback because it was a stunt person and not an actor, but still pretty cool, I will say that. So They were able to defeat the monster of the week in the end in this week's episode, and everyone's free in the end. And then at the end of the episode, there's another monster of the week called the Guts Monster, who said that they're turning this school into a prison. And that's where the episode kind of ends up on. But you do have the Lupin Ranger protecting the Pato Ranger, and that's when his identity is revealed to the Pato Ranger, revealing that it is the old principal to him. So that's how they find that out. But like I said, there was some really cool fight scenes within this week's episode. Like you said, Sumino using the Mega Ranger ring, which was pretty cool. I did enjoy that, like In Space, Mega Ranger. One of my favorite series. I like In Space more than Mega Ranger, but they're still both pretty good, especially when it comes to the Neji Ranger and the Psycho Ranger story. Like, that's still pretty good. But this episode, like I said, a lot of fun, really good fight sequence that I really did enjoy. And next week's episode looks like is when things really go ballistic. They really hit the fan with everything going on with episode 25. So I definitely can't wait to see that, how that's going to turn out. But overall, this was a really fun episode. I thought this episode would kind of be like a one and done monster of the week. But no, when they did say in the Toei Press blogs they're starting up a brand new story arc this week, I didn't expect the story arc for this week to kick off with such a bang. So overall, Gojuju continues to be a fantastic series, despite some people thinking it's a bit empty here and there. But overall, Gojuju, I'm having a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see where it's going to go next. So with that said, I'll catch you guys later. Peace out, take care, and bye.